Okay, so the transfer mill, rumour mill, Wolves is starting to finally kick off, and it's some centre backs, I think, which is nice to hear it from a Wolves point of view. It's mainly just been wingers and strikers we've been linked with, but two centre backs today. Sven Botman, according to Fabrizio Romano, although that one feels a bit unlikely, and then Duje Caleta, who's Marseille's Croatian centre back. And this is the most excited I've been about a transfer rumor in ages. I think, we've been linked with a few players going in and out. Obviously, the Traore stuff's been going on. The Ruben Smedo stuff happened recently. But I think both of these signings, obviously, we're not going to sign both, but whether we get Sven Botman or Chaleta Char, whichever one we get, this feels like a good move. Obviously, it's very clear that Sven Botman's the better player. I think everyone would acknowledge that. But it's one of those situations where whoever we sign, it's just reflective of the price, right? Like, if Wolves do get Sven Botman, we will have to pay big money. I know Lille do sell like assets for cheap. Like they sold Bubakari Samari for really cheap. This summer they're in a bit of a mess, Lille, right now. But I think it's clear that Sven Botman is the better centre back out of the two. And if we could get him, which I don't think we will, it kind of feels like he'll end up at Sevilla. But if we do get him, this is amazing. This is a statement signing. He's been linked with a lot of Europe's biggest clubs. And look, whichever one we get, it's a win for Wolves. They're both the right kind of age. Chaleta Char's a bit older. They both play on the left side of a back four, although Chaleta Char has also played in the back three, which is something Sven Botman I don't think's ever actually done, which would assume, to me anyway, that we're going to probably play a back four if we make a centre back signing. But they're both young. They've both played in Ligue 1, which I know people diss Ligue 1 a bit, but it is the best league for producing young talent, in my opinion, anyway. Maybe with the German league. Um, so I think you'd be happy with either. I think Chaleta Char makes the most sense purely because of our financial situation. I think everyone would understand if we can't go and get Sven Botman for that money. Um, but to me, it makes sense. We're going and getting a left-sided centre half. I assume this will spell the end for Roman Saiz, and one of these two will come in. They're actually very different to Roman Saiz. Sven Botman clearly very good on the ball, a really good passer, and it's not just sideways passes. Forward passes. And both of these guys have won league titles. Sven Botman won one at Lille last season. Chaleta Char, when he was at Salzburg, won the league multiple times in Austria. Sven Botman's obviously used to playing in possession sides. He's come through the Ajax academy, plays for the Dutch national side. He's been in good sides before. It would actually probably be a bit of a transition for him going to a weaker side. But the thing I like about Sven Botman, comfortable on the ball, but good in the air. I think that's a nice mix. Obviously, all these defensive numbers are pretty low. And Jose Font, who he played next to, were a bit higher. But I don't think that's a bad thing. If you look at Ruben Dias's numbers, they're all pretty low. If you're playing in a ball dominant side, odds are you have lower defensive numbers. So I don't think that would really be an issue. He's decent on the ball. He can move it forward, and he's really young. Like, to be 21 and putting up these sort of numbers in a top five league, it's really impressive. There aren't many centre backs in Europe that put up these sort of numbers at that age, and they're that aerially dominant as well. A lot of young centre backs don't win aerial duels. It's just kind of a thing. Like, as much as we all like Max Kilman's I think's like I can actually go look now, but Sven Botman's at 3 aerial wins per 90 at 21 years of age. Max Kilman's at 1.5, yet he's got a couple of inches on him. That's not me dissing Max Kilman, by the way. It's just making the point that Sven Botman's clearly very good in the air for someone his age and would offer that, and that would only improve, right? Chaleta Char's numbers aren't as good, obviously, because he's not playing in an as good side. If you look at expected goals against last season in Liga, Lille had the best defense in Ligue 1 last season. They had Bubakari Samari and Benjamin Andre, who had very high defensive numbers protecting that back four. Whereas Chaleta was playing in still a decent defence under Andre Villas-Boas last season, but clearly a weaker side. Also played in the back three sometimes as well, which means your defensive numbers are going to be lower. But decent in the air, an okay passer. Maybe not as mobile as Sven Botman. Clearly a worse centre back. I think that's pretty obvious. But a more realistic one who is probably more adaptable to playing in a back three and will probably come in and make more of an impact just based on experience things. He's played in a few different countries and he's a bit older. But Chaleta clearly the worst of the two, but would still probably be an upgrade and is at that age where he'd probably kick on, or you'd assume anyway. So yeah, if we do sign one of them, I'll do more of an in-depth video on their stats. But I think I'd be happy with either. Obviously, Sven Botman would be amazing. That'd be a dream signing. I don't think we'll be able to afford that. Caleta makes the most sense, and then probably Roman Sace will go out to offset the wages, and Wolves will do what they do. And it'd be interesting to see who we're going for next. We still need a central midfielder. I think that's pretty clear. But things are starting to kick off now. You know, we had the Ruben Smedo stuff about a week ago. These Alma Traore stuff's going on, and now with two centre backs being linked. So it feels like Wolves are starting to go in the right direction. We scored some goals, and now we're starting to get some signings, hopefully. If you enjoyed the video, like the video, subscribe to the channel. If more stuff comes out about either of them, I'll do a video on it in a bit more depth. But yeah, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and yeah, peace.